other stuff that I, you know.
How hard is it? If anything else, just play the
Exactly. It isn't hard. It's when Jimmy song is kind of wide open. You can do whatever. She doesn't. There's only been one time in what 6, 7 years I've been playing. One time, and she turned around and said, "Don't do that again." And it was because they were playing the C and I played sharp. Just hit the wrong note, but it just rang out. It's everybody. It's only or whatever I'm able to.
Wow,
Get a
yeah.
chord, you know, keep a chord.
My one bass shepherd was because when we letter did something to my throat to connect to the chord that I need to reset it up. I know how to restring my bass, but
I take mine too. I go to the luthier, Sam Ash. I've taken 12, I've taken 6 string. He would put each of those new guitars. They had buzzes somewhere along the way, and he changed right out of the top and he frets on the ukes. I mean, really good. It's not expensive. But yeah, he said, well, and I just started going out there because it was a really good record. I didn't know that. But he had done the 12 string when I reached it. And he had done my first 12 string. Pay him a few bucks about it. That way, whatever games she put on it, you know, they said, and then I went there.
It's strung through the body.
Right. And does it have the heads? Does it have keys on the top, or is it? Oh, okay, so it's not that.
No, I don't do that. I'm like, oh.
This guy went out there just. Yeah, I'm a new guy. So I've been taking stuff to him. A buddy of mine took a bass uke to him, which is not really hard. You got to pull a little, put the strings on. But it took weeks for the strings to quit stretching. Because he put some nylon strings on the bass, and the guy said, to put the strings on it was getting them stretched out. But yeah, he works there kind of part-time, but he works on Saturday. But I would take it to him and let him. He does a really good job. Might need a rod adjustment or.
It's my favorite thing.
I'm down to one.
Why you don't sound like that? The Kedrick leaders change. Yep.
It's a bridge versus the neck. And I just don't have the
with me. So stand up and join. Thank you for being a friend with us. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow? If you threw a party, invited everyone they knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. 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 Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. I'm not ashamed to say, I hope it always will stay this way. My hat is off. Won't you stand up and take a bow? And when we both get older, good things and pale gray. Have no fear, even though it's hard to hear. When you stand up close and say, thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. If you can, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. I know we So let's see if we can manage to get through these announcements. I think it's kind of interesting that I have gone back to the roots of what I first did when I first came to this church 150 years ago. So that's really kind of cool. 150, yes. So today is the gift of change. What that actually means is not only the children, but the adults have been dealing with change, keeping change. And so this morning we have a change bucket. Now everything's on a different side. So I'm going to explain that to you at the end of the service, because our sacred walk of abundance will look a little bit different than it always does. And I'm going to say this in the beginning, everybody in this room needs to go on the sacred walk of abundance, whether or not you put money in or change in. Does everybody see something that kind of looks Catholic over there to the side? Anybody ever been in a Catholic church and seen a whole bunch of candles? We want everybody in here to light a candle before you go today. So, okay? So that's just, keep that in the back of your mind. And I think I don't know how she does all this, so thank you.
She's a genius.
So next Sunday morning, actually Judy and I will be at the river celebrating Thanksgiving with all of those family, because most of you that are friends with us on Facebook see we had a new granddaughter. Harper May. Harper May was born yesterday around 4 something. After 26 hours of labor, her mother finally went, I give. And they did a C-section, which we were all proud for. Yay. And so we have been with them, and we will be with them through Thanksgiving, and then we'll go to the river to celebrate with Judy's side of the family. And so next Sunday, you all will be blessed with Jody Solon. She has been here before, but it's been quite a while. She has moved back to Nashville, so she will be here and be giving a positive message to lift your heart and remind you of who you truly are. So please come out and support her while she's here next week. And I think on Saturday, November the 30th, and Becky asked to read it, you raise your hand. So if you have any other questions about this, it's the Healing Arts Ministry that is holding this. This is the 5 Stages of Soul Transformation by Dosi, and she's from Sedona, Arizona, so I can only imagine what that's going to be like. That'll be awesome. So put that on your calendar. And the writers group will meet on this Sunday, which is today, at 12:30. Is that correct, Laura? In the Namaste Cafe. Okay. And is that it?
That's it.
That's it. So I think we're going to sing again is what I think that means. So stand up and sing with us. I'm so glad that we are here. I'm so glad that we are here. I feel the Spirit ever near. I feel the Spirit ever near. We are friends and family. We are friends and family. Singing praises joyfully. Singing praises joyfully. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We give thanks for everything. We give thanks for everything. Countless blessings Spirit brings. Countless blessings Spirit brings. Celebrate our unity. Celebrate our unity. As we live in harmony. As we live in harmony. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. We are blessed, we are thankful, all is well and life is good. All is well and life is good. All is well and life is good. So we have a few more announcements. Lunch Bunch and Wednesday night will meet this Wednesday night because some people are out of town, but some people are here. So the Gift of Change we are still going with at Lunch Bunch. And then Wednesday evening we are still going with Breathing Underwater by Richard Rohr. We are at step 9. Making amends, we started last week, and we're going to continue that with step 9 this week. So if any of you are looking for ways to make amends, that's what Wednesday night class is about. And as I said last week, some of us are moving into Thanksgiving and Christmas and having to be with family members that it probably would be nice if we went to the Thanksgiving table or the Christmas table past making amends. So that would be a good thing. So I think that is everything. So B.
Blue. For Dave. So, hello my dear friends. Is everybody thankful today? Yes. Good. Because today is the day that the Lord has made, the law has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today being the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we focus our attention on thankfulness and gratitude for our lives. And today we again read from Psalms for Praying, an Invitation to Wholeness by Nancy Merrill. The affirmation, I am a loving expression of divine creation. Together, I am a loving expression of divine creation. Psalm 100. Sing a joyful noise to the beloved, all peoples of the earth. Serve love with a glad heart. Join hands in the great dance of life. Know that the beloved of your heart is the divine presence. Love created us, and we belong to the Most High. We are born to be loving expressions of divine creation. And so, we open the gates to our heart with gratitude. We enter love's energy with praise. We give thanks to the beloved and bless love's holy name. For love is God, and God lives in our hearts forever. With faith, truth, and joy, now and in all that is to come, we say, Amen, Alleluia, and Amen.
Amen. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Voices of unity. That may be just a little bit different than what's being sung at some churches this morning. Just a tad. So today, we are doing several things. Number one, we are filling our life with gratitude so that we can share it with others. That's the whole process. Number two, we are learning how to be thankful, sometimes for things that we are not quite thankful for. And number three, that was only two. Number three, I skipped over number three. Number three, we are at the second 4 consciousness shifts. Now, if you were not here last week, I'm going to remind you what the first 4 were. Because you have to go through them like an algebra equation. You have to do each one and they build on each other. You can't just all of a sudden decide, oh, I'm going to be way up here. Because those of us that have done that, and I have, it bites you in the butt eventually. And it goes, no, you still got work right here. Go do that first, and then come back to this. So what does it look like filling your life with gratitude? Some of you heard this last week when Bee read it. Thanksgiving is the beginning of gratitude. Say that. Thanksgiving is the beginning of gratitude. And then gratitude is the completion of thankfulness, which moves beyond words into what? Oh, wow. Because we can't just sit and be thankful. If I am truly thankful, I'm going to be doing something out into the world with that. Anybody this week seen anybody that you have seen anywhere in the world that did not have what you have? So what can we do as individuals to make a difference in that? That's what this lesson is about. That's what the last week and this week are about. It's like, it's one thing to be truly grateful. When I was in a room yesterday at Vanderbilt, in the labor and delivery room, with about 15 to 18 people shoved into one little room, so very grateful and so very hot, all together with this baby, I was like, wow, that's a lot to be thankful for. And that there was Harper May, and there was me, and there was Austin, and then there were my parents, all of those generations, all there, all together. And I also know that there are families that don't get to do that. And so what am I willing to do as an individual to hold the consciousness for that to shift on our planet? And then is there anything that I'm willing to do, actually do, action steps, to make that happen? So, review from last week. There's 8 shifts in consciousness. You will actually understand at the very end why I have on what I have on, and my Voices friend said I was dressed up like a hippie. This is my Native American shaman outfit, one of them. And I know even when I say that, sometimes in groups of people, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What's that? I'm going to give you some information today by the 8th step that will get you to the place to where at least you may not be too scared of that. Because what I want you to do is know that it's inside of all of you. Every one of us on the planet has somewhere in our lineage indigenous people. Somewhere. Somewhere. And it's connecting to that. So, look at the person beside you and say, inside you is a shaman. And just kind of pay attention to what that feels like, because if you turn the 8, and the numerology or spiritual system around the number 8 is around balancing between the dimensions. And when you turn the 8 on the side, what do you see? It's all there. It's all there. That's why we're doing what we're doing, because how better to be grateful than to understand the bigger picture of what's going on here with us than to just say this is about turkey and dressing. Now that's a good part. Meemaw was ever vigilant yesterday, making sure everybody knew in that room that they were invited to her house at 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon to eat turkey and dressing. That's the law, and so it is, right? Yes. Yes. So we started with these two last week. Victim and controller. And what I want to tell you is you've all been all of these, so don't go, I've never been a victim. Or I don't have a control issue. We all do. And we all can slide right back down in it again. So a victim is one that believes that life is not safe or I am not safe. How many of us have been in situations where we did not feel safe? Yes. And so that's that consciousness. And it's pervaded by fear. Can you feel that? It's like when I don't feel safe, I'm afraid. And then you can hear somebody all day long say from the Course in Miracles, shift that fear to love. Right. That's a whole different ballgame. And if I'm truly afraid in a moment, that's not as easy as I may think it is. Intellectually, it may be easy. Even for those of us who've studied the Course in Miracles or Unity Principles or any kind of new thought, we know that. But when I'm feeling afraid, I forget. So some of us go, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to fix this. Any fixers out there? Yes, Matt. I see you. I see him because I'm one too. It's like, I can fix this. I can fix this so I don't have to be afraid. And so everybody around me doesn't have to be afraid. What I can't control will what? Hurt me and everybody else around me. Where did we learn that we had to be afraid of pain? So, talk to somebody next to you about where you learned that.
That's pretty much it.
Something like that. I'm like waiting to do it. But if I
Those things have to happen.
and not make it go.
It's gotta happen.
So I just heard someone out in the audience say, "Are you afraid?" And I heard a yes. You've not ever been around me. That's not what my yes would have sounded like. You ever been that afraid? And you thought the only thing that you could do was control what's going on? Again, we're going to get to the end of this, but finding out why I'm so afraid to feel something less than is important. Because again, if you remember, and I've taught this over and over and over, you chose to come into this life. Into the life you're in. And you knew everything that was going to happen ahead of time. I know you're going, why? And I can't tell you the answer to that. Only your inner wisdom can tell you the answer to that. But you did. So everybody just breathe. It's all okay. Remember this from last week? So why would I want to hang out in thoughts of fear and pain and control when I could do something about it? And there may not be an answer yet. That's okay. So, stage 3 is I begin to understand that I'm a co-creator. Now that starts with parking spaces and stuff like that. And those are fun. We were somewhere yesterday, I don't remember where we were, and it's like we've been running around between hospitals and all kinds of stuff, and I said, we've got to go by Hobby Lobby, which you just don't go by Hobby Lobby on Saturday, but it was like, oh, there's a parking place. Judy said, well, that's good. Look what you did. Well, and who knows whether I did or I didn't, but there's where we start. Now, hear me, it's much bigger than that, but that's a way to begin. That life happens in me. And if I am happy and joyful and peaceful, things are going to happen better, even if I was not able to park in the street. Can you understand that? Because even if I had to park somewhere I didn't want to park, if I get out and go in a happy state, my experience in Hobby Lobby is going to be much more pleasant than if I walk in and I'm a pisser. For everybody and everything. Right? So that's all this is understanding that my attitude and my emotions are going to affect everything and everybody else. And so then I go into being a receiver. How many of you have a hard time receiving? I hear that all the time when I work with people or they sit and talk with me in my office and I'll say, how are you at receiving? Well, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. What does that mean? I'm working on it. It's hard. So I want you to tell somebody close to you what you have been willing to receive this last week. Go. So how many of you can begin to feel the shift in consciousness happening in the room right now? Do you understand that when you focus on what you're receiving instead of what you don't think you have, your energy begins to shift and your consciousness raises up a little bit? It happened in the room? Within about 5 minutes, we've shifted from victimhood to receiverhood. Wow. Could I do that quickly in my own life? Could. Could. Thirsty helps. I've heard turkey helps your serotonin levels. Yes, I've been told that. So eat a lot of that. less than some of the other. So I want you to affirm this with me. Know that when you walk through the sacred walk of abundance, this is the affirmation that each of you will be receiving this morning to take home with you. But I just want you to say this with me together. I am not my thoughts, emotions, sense perceptions, and experiences. I am not the content of my life. I am life. I am the space in which all things happen. I am consciousness. I am the now. I am. Now talk to somebody beside you about what just came up for you as affirming that. So we're ready for step 6. Or 5. See, I'm having a hard time with numbers today.
Not saying I got it.
Yes, new babies, well, numbers are not my thing anyway. So what I'm going to say may be offensive to some of you, and so everybody just suck it in and be okay. Unity, new thought, Course in Miracles pretty much ends right here at this step. Just breathe, it's all okay. Philosophical, where is that coming from? And we have to be able to get there to move our lives forward. So everybody just breathe. I'm not saying don't go to Course in Miracles. I'm definitely not saying don't go to New Thought Church. That's how we get out all that other stuff. But the majority of the people that are in these programs stop right here. Because the next steps they're so afraid of. So everybody breathe. It's all okay. We even have it here. When we offer some of those woo-woo experiences, people are like, eh, not so much. Eh. Just think about that. How many of you were willing to go stand up after the peace day and be in the circle with Chief Arvil? Some of you were. Some of you are like, no, I'm tired. I can't do that. That's just your consciousness going, oh, I don't know what he might say or do. That might be a little scary to my consciousness. So just breathe. A philosopher knows that life happens what? But it's all intellectual. Gandhi tried to push that concept by telling us to do what? But you can't do it from your head. How are you the change out in the world right now? Share that with somebody. So conversations sometimes go a little like this. I know all this, but I don't know what to do. I know all this, but I don't know what to do. Well, let's just do what Denise does. No. Let's do what Matt and Laura do. No. Let's do what Becky Astorita does. No. Do you understand that when you get to this stage, you have to be silent enough and listen to what Holy Spirit is telling you to do? You cannot be asking Kathy Benson, what am I supposed to do? I know I've done that before. That was years ago. I've kind of grown up a little bit now, but I used to go to her and go, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. She was like, neither do I, honey. It's like, you've got to know what is yours to do. And if you don't know, you got to spend more time in the silence. We don't like that. We're a quick fix group of people. We're used to fast foods and microwaves and let's get it done, let her get it done. Just get it done. Do you understand it might take you years to know what you're supposed to do? Years. Well, I don't have that long. Just tell me something and I'll do it. No. What I do know is when you finally get there, you go, thank you, God. This is it. This is it. What?
And God said,
listen some more. So we get to stage 6. What is that? How many of you want to sign up for that job? Not a whole lot of you are raising your hands. Those people are the people that are teachers, ministers, counselors, therapists, mothers, fathers, friends, that know life is me. They're the people that other people invite to the table just because they just want them there. They don't really know why, but they say it feels better when you're here. It usually happens when our hair starts graying. And we start getting a little bit older. And I know the first time somebody said, I want you to be on this board, I was like, for what? They said, we just want you to be in the room. And I was like, why? Because we just do. We want you here. And after about a year, I kind of got it. Because my presence in the room kept them going forward. It was like years ago when this church got into a crisis situation and the board was fighting with itself. And I ended up taking a sabbatical. One of the board members said, we don't like you in the room because we can't talk, or we fight when you're in the room. We don't fight when you're in the room, is what I said. And we need to be able to fight. I was like, you need to be able to fight? What do you want to fight about? If we still need to fight, we don't get it. We're not a sage. We don't understand that life is me. And life is you. And my experience may not look like yours, so I can't make yours wrong. So when you get to this stage, you have to stop judging everything and everybody. Whoa. Don't. You know, I may make her uncomfortable, but I watch my dear mentor and friend, Kathy Benson, just sit and be still lots of times. And I don't know what all's going on inside of her mind, but I can feel. It's like I need to wrap myself around this. She's a sage. It's like, how do I sit in information that is not necessarily information that I want to hear? And am I spewing out negative things, or am I being wise? A sage is someone who possesses wisdom and good judgment, wise through experience and reflection. Does that make sense? And so what I will also tell you is that I have found in my own life journey, there are certain places that I can be a sage and certain places I can't. Because I've not had the experience. When somebody asks me about raising children or school stuff or whatever, I have lived all that. Not that I know exactly what to do, but I've lived all that, so I can sit with you and hold that space with you in a way that somebody who has not done that cannot do. When somebody comes to me that has been abused as a woman, I have done that, been there, done that. I can hold that space for you. Because to be a sage, I have to be a scotch higher in vibration than the person who's sitting in front of me. Do you get that? If you're going to be of help, of raising someone else's consciousness, you can't get down in the muck and the mire with them. You can't go, oh, bless your heart, honey. What do you see? You see an eye and you see... And how do they both work? They let in light. Does that give you an idea about what a sage could do? They can let the light flow through them so that they can see clearer than you can see in the moment. You are the opening of light for the holy universe. That's a little bit big to hold in your consciousness right now, isn't it? And so what does this whole universe look like to you? So pull in a little bit. What does our globe look like to you? Without judgment, without negativity. Let's make it a little more personal. What does the United States look like to you? Without judgment, without negativity. I'm giving you that example because in that place, if you can't go there, you can't be a sage. You've got to back up a little bit. That's how you make a decision about that. Can I look at the situation that's going on in front of me and shine more light on it, or am I just adding more darkness with my voice? Can you hear that? And hear me. If you're doing the second, it does not mean you're going in a handbasket to hell. It means you don't need to sign up for that job. That one. Maybe another one. Step 7. These are getting a little bit more dicey. Remember that movie? Do you remember that that movie was teaching oneness? Teaching about what we can possibly see beyond what we think is real? Do you understand that that movie was talking about people were destroying the land and people for wealth and profitability? Does that sound familiar? What would it take any of us to become avatars right now? To understand that. Where were they trying to go? They were trying to go to the Emerald City or the Land of Oz. What have we been told in New Thought? It's not about dying and going to heaven. It's about creating what? Heaven on earth, not hell. We don't want to do that. We've already done that many times. We are about creating heaven on earth, but do we believe we can? And are my thoughts always about creating heaven on earth? Are they aligning with the forces of darkness? And you may never heard a unity minister talk about that. But energy is all energy. It is all energy, and you can use energy for good or for evil, either one you want to. It's all energy, it's all same. So if that's true, why would I be making negative comments about my country out there? Would I not be making positive comments so that my country could feel that? How does change happen? We have to do it first inside of us, and then we have to be the change. And some of us are not really sure how that works, because we think it works for us to get out there and scream and holler and fight. It doesn't work that way. We've been taught that over and over and over and over and over and over and over until things get really painful, and then we decide to fight again. Because we're going to the controlling place. Remember that second one? Everybody breathe, exhale. Do you know that you're pure energy? That that's all you really are? In a bodysuit? Magic has never disappeared from the earth. The people of the earth just forgot what magic is. The entire earth holds such magic that if we really spent time relearning the ways of our ancestors, we would know that we are one and the same. Can you feel that? Because step 8 is about being a mystic or a shaman. If shaman scares you to death because that sounds, ooh, Jesus was a mystic. That man that people think they follow out there, they just follow blah, 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 blah. He healed people. That's right. He changed water into wine. When have you all done that lately? I've been trying. So we just talk about it like, oh, isn't that special? Do you realize it's real? You know, there's an old book, and I cannot remember when it was written, Be Might, Messages from the Land Down Under. Remember that book? Yeah. Where there were some people that were going on, I think they were Aborigines, right? Yes. And there was a man with them, and I don't think that he really was bought into what all was happening. But in the story, there is someone that falls or hurts themselves and breaks a bone in their leg, and the bone protrudes from the skin. Now just think about how you would react to that. You want to know what they did? They circled around this person and they started chanting, and they raised their vibration higher and 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 higher, and the bone popped back into place and was healed. Surely that was a fairy tale, right? Talk to somebody beside you about what's going on in your head right now. So let's talk again here for just a minute. So whatever comes up with you around all of this that are fear-based are yours to clear out. I can't do that. What are people going to think? Will I be able to deal with all the people who come to me, and what if I can't heal that? Maybe I should just shut up and be quiet. Right? Pot and kettle and pot. Yes. Yeah. It's like, what is it that's stopping us from following the teachings of Jesus, the Master Teacher? What's stopping us? We're afraid. What does it mean to be a mystic? I know everything is energy. If everything is energy, then I am energy, and so when I put my energy in there, things are going to shift. Unless, what if my energy is stanky? I don't want to put that. Anybody ever had that thought? I might make it worse. The ability to project consciousness across space and time. Whoa. Some of you do, I know. You may be hiding your head up underneath the tables right now, but I know you do this. The ability to see, experience, and remember aspects of other dimensions, past, present, and future. Those of you that are friends on my Facebook post, go to the pictures I posted yesterday, because there was a moment in time when my mother held, Harper May. And Harper May opened her eyes and looked right in my mother's eyes. They've been together before. My mother is getting close to not being here anymore. Harper May was saying, it's okay. I just came from there and it's okay. It was very evident of what was going on. Now hear me, everybody didn't see that. Because everybody in the room wasn't ready to see that. But I saw it. And Judy saw it. And Austin saw it. And started crying. He knew. The ability to interact with and communicate with other forms of consciousness, plants, animals. How many of you talk to your plants? Animals, everything. Yeah. We just don't tell everybody, right? The ability to intuitively pick up sensory data beyond the limits of physical senses. Here's where it starts getting dicey. Because I pick up on all kinds of stuff. And then I get home and I have to go, is this my stuff? Was this your stuff? What am I supposed to do with this stuff? Yeah. But it's all energy. So if you've picked up on somebody's something and you know it's not yours, let it go. Let it go. If you hold it inside you, it will cause disease. Cause disease. Don't keep it. The ability to feel, read, and work with energies. Uh-oh. Well, here we go. We have some Reiki people in here. We have other different kinds of energy healers here in the room. We've got a Wiccan priestess sitting back there. I hope that's okay for me to say that. We have several of us that have gone through shaman training. We're not afraid of this. You don't have to be afraid of it. It's not that we're going to do some voodoo on you and make like some ugly something happen. It's just about the ability to work with energies, because I don't know how many of you are beginning to understand, but those of us that have been therapists for years, this blah, blah, blah is no longer working on our planet anymore. It's not. It's like it's deeper than that, and we got to deal with that. So, I have no idea what that is. So in this moment, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. I am not in the universe. I am the universe. I am the universe. I am a point of light where the universe is becoming conscious of itself in this now moment. I am the miracle. I begin in my breath to remember. To remember above me. The sky. Below me. Mother Earth. The energy behind us, our grandmothers. The energy before us, our grandfathers. The energy in my left hand, mother energy. Loving, supportive, mother energy. Compassionate, mother energy. The energy in our right hand. The Father. Strength and courage. set aside the world now. Let it go. I come to the altar of spirit. Let it fall. I've opened wide the gates to my heart. Come in, holy, holy and free. I'm home. In the silence. May I never forget that the air I breathe is a blessing. May I never forget that the water I drink is the water of life. May I never forget the animals, the rocks, the plants, the earth. May I never forget this fire of passion that is burning inside me. May I never forget that we are all in this together, sharing space on this one planet. Connect us to that deeper dimension as we do this most important work together today. And in the name of all that is holy and sacred, we say Amen and Amen. So let me explain this to you, and I know some of you are still in the ethers, and that's okay too. Our sacred walk of abundance this morning, again, I said I would hope that everyone would have a part in this. Because we're going to fill that wall up there with candles lit for all of our thankfulness. And so the process is to come the same way you've been coming and put, if you've got change, put it in here. If you've got money or other kinds of things that you want to put in here, put here. Then go immediately over here to these candles. I told her she had to light a candle. She was like, really? I also suggest those of you that are first, light ones in the back so that the people that come last aren't setting themselves on fire. But there are 2 candles that are burning, so you can light off of those. Yes, you get to play in fire today. And then the last thing that you do is get your affirmation from the Lord. So, we affirm together as the praise and worship people come up here because they're going to play eventually with everybody too. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me.
Was that line that goes from the last to first?
So our closing song is going to be one that might be new to you, but we got a bunch of us here singing it, and some words are going to be up there, so stand and join us. And so in just a moment, we're going to open our hands and our hearts and our minds. And we bless this spiritual community and these tithes and offerings. Be with each of us today. Living, loving Spirit, there are so many different things on all of our hearts. And may we remember to raise our consciousness one scotch above whatever might be going on in the room, whatever situation we find ourselves in. And to remember that deep within each of us is a mystic and a shaman who can shift the energy in a second, can be a holy instant, a miracle. And so it is. Amen. I think you all are supposed to say that together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.